If you don't have a database, that has to change today. And you're going to do it. You're going to take massive action today. Start your database. It is like push button make sale. Come on, is that sexy? Right? Right? You need a t-shirt. Push button make sale. You can email your database. I would make 2-3 sales. Push button make sale. Anybody want that? Or do you like the slow, painful, suffer? Life sucks. Struggle bus. And so Frank is the best there is in North America. The best. That is why he's here today. Please don't text, don't email. Give the next hour and 45 minutes to Frank your full attention. He will take your business to the next level. He's going to change you. Go back to Lions and prosper. Go back to Century 21 or Coldwell Banker and kill it. Go back to your independent brokerage. This is broker agnostic. This is for each other. Welcome. We're so glad you're here. And with that, help me bring up Frank Klesitz. Give him a hand, everybody. Woo!
Being honest.
You're awesome.
Juicy, mini made, but can't do it one minute, man. Not a side or main. I'm the only one in it.
Wow, thank you. Incredible introduction. Thank you so much, Brent. That was incredible. Hi, everybody. Welcome. We got an hour and 45 minutes together. Just so you know, I do have some nice notes for you. I'm going to give you a QR code shortly to follow along. All right? And I'm going to help you get more business from your number one asset in your business. It's your database. Specifically, I want you to think about your past clients you've worked with. If you've been in the game for a while. Your centers of influence. Maybe think about your friends on Facebook that maybe necessarily aren't other realtors, which is common. All right, maybe think of your Google contacts, the people in your phone. And so think about all the people that you have in your CRM. If you were to go in your CRM and we looked at all those contacts, that's who we're talking about today. People in your CRM, your past clients, your centers of influence. What are we doing to be in front of them to position you as the expert, to articulate your competence as a listing professional, especially as the market becomes relatively more difficult? All right? We're going to spend an hour and 45 minutes on that today. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. We're going to walk through step by step with the notes I'm going to give you of what I'd like you to do when you go home to execute and get business versus just sharing some theories and ideas on the concepts. Sound good? I'm going to start with a story. I got out of college. I wanted to have my own business. I wasn't sure what the vehicle would be for that business, so I chose real estate. Someone said, Frank, I think you'd be a great real estate professional. I said, let's give it a shot. So I went to a training just like this. The speaker on the stage was answering the question, how do you get business as a realtor? And basically they pulled up on the screen, the concept of you have everyone you haven't met. These are your haven't mets, maybe a target area of town of strangers. And you have your mets, the people you've actually met, the people that know you, you know them. There's some type of existing relationship and they would recognize your name and maybe have good things to say in some way. And the concept was very simple before all the technology exploded over the past decade. And the speaker said, hey, why don't you get a list of all the zip codes in the county? Why don't you find out how many single-family homes are in each zip code? And why don't you go on the MLS or talk to the title company and find out how many sold in the past 12 months? And typically right now, it's about 4%. So if there's 1,000 homes, what is that? 40. I'll do some quick math there. Not 40. So if every 1,000 homes in the county for sale, take all the zip codes and then order them by which ones maybe have the highest turnover rate, and maybe go start in those areas and those zip codes and building relationships in those areas because there's more people that maybe statistically you talk to a homeowner want to sell. And if you have nothing else and you're starting totally from scratch, go knock on the door, go make a cold call legally, go leave a flyer, get in front of those homeowners in that area, establish a relationship, let them know that you're a professional, and then ask their permission to stay in touch. In fact, why don't you offer them a free subscription to your real estate newsletter? Sound good to me. You get permission to stay in touch, you get the homeowner's name, probably in a target area, high turnover zip code, and you put it in a spreadsheet, you put it in your phone, you put it in your database, doesn't matter where it goes somewhere. This person knows you, they give you permission to stay in touch. And then you send them helpful things. You send them things that would convince them and help them remember to hire you when they are ready to sell. Because let's face it, if you just go knock on someone's door saying you want to sell your home, it's a lot of no's until you get a yes, right? And you probably got to do something with those no's or the people that maybe are a yes into the future. So I got that concept. That concept was simple to me. Build a database of homeowners in high likely to sell areas by introducing yourself, getting permission to stay in touch, putting them on a nurture program. I think we all understand that. The challenge is I didn't know what to send them. I didn't have a system to stay in touch. What was the plan? What was the marketing plan? What am I going to do to stay in touch with the database that I would build? Especially starting off brand new. I didn't really have anyone except some friends from school because I was kind of starting from scratch. So the best advice I had at the time was essentially some recipe cards. You'd be sending some recipe cards with your picture on it, or maybe a football schedule of something of the type. And I'm really young at the time, maybe like 21 years old, learning how to do this. I'm like, I don't know if that's going to convince these people to hire me to represent them in a transaction and pay me a $20,000 commission. Do you guys feel me on this? The concept was more like a touch. It's like they need to see your photo. And I was like, I think they need to see more than a photo to like see me as a competent professional to represent them. So I may be beginning to date myself a little bit, not too much, but does anyone remember the flip camera? Okay. Yeah, the flip cam. That was a big deal for any of you that are younger that don't remember that. That was like, it was one button, wasn't it? It was a red button that you press and you could make a video and pretty easily plug it in with the USB into your computer. And then you could put it on your website. You could put it on YouTube. You could put it on Facebook, which just opened up out of colleges. You could email it out. And I was like, maybe I could use video. I could Google what questions people are asking, because I didn't really know, I was young. Find out what the answers are, and I'm just going to start kind of articulating those Q&A videos and publishing Q&A videos to stay in touch with the list. At the time, the concept was being taught of having some type of 33 touch, or now let's call it a 36 touch, where 2-3 times a month you're hitting your database in some way with, I would argue, content so good, people would be arguably willing to pay for it. That's the concept. To articulate your competence and your expertise, answering commonly asked questions, telling stories, to stay in touch. I did that. In fact, I spent so much time trying to figure out that system, I was working for a team. I went to my team owner, a professional for 30 years in the business. I said, Teresa, what are you doing, by the way? I just went to this great seminar. What are you doing to stay in touch with your database? The answer? You said it. Nothing. I go, what? That's like what you do. That's the plan. And the answer was nothing. So long story short, I'm going to walk you through this. I said, Teresa, why don't we grab all your contacts? Let's go through all your 10 CRMs you've used over the years. Let's go through all of your email programs, all the people that might know who you are. Let's round them up. Let's deduplicate them. Let's get them all in one centralized list and cleaned. We're going to do this today, by the way. All right? And let's get maybe a healthy reconnect message out with all those people to let people know that, the joke is that you're not a secret agent. People know who you are and you exist, and let them know that you're there. And let's get some type of plan to ongoing communicate with the people in that list. A little skeptical. It was new at the time. We did it. Long story short, her phone rang. People replied to the emails. They saw the videos. People called her, as opposed to her worldview of very strictly was like, I have to go 100% outbound all the time, proving myself over and over to strangers. And for a relatively low cost, digitally, people might call you. Or at least you could see who's maybe clicking on it and engaging with it, and prioritize your follow-up with those people on your list. They call that lead scoring now. You guys catch me? So, what I'd like to do is walk you through that whole process, to give you guys a plan to execute on staying in better touch with your neglected database. Specifically, when I say database, I want to be very clear. Past clients, sphere or centers of influence, and your lead nurtures. Anyone that has expressed interest in possibly selling a home in the future that arguably you've gotten permission whether it's through an online opt-in form or in person or whatever it may be, that says, yeah, communicate with me, stay in touch with me, I'm thinking about making a decision. And we want to do that kind of in a scaled way where people can spend time with you at scale and get to know you. So it's not just one-to-one on the phone all the time, let alone to your database isn't that bad, but to strangers all the time. And if we can go maybe one-to-many to a warm list, you'll find not an avalanche isn't really the right word, but you'll feel a pretty steady drip of people reaching out to you or prioritizing who you can follow up with. All right? So let's pull up the notes. That's the goal today. Can we get this, put those up? So here you go. That's going to set the tone for our work today together. So if you guys want to just pull up your phones, and that should pull up a Google document that's view only, so there's no need to request access from all of you in the room. It's a bit much. All right? But it's view only, and these are the notes that we're going to go through, and you're welcome to follow along a bit on your phone as long as you don't get too distracted by any text. I'd recommend maybe put your phone on airplane mode or silent or sleep if you're following along with the notes, because you might get sucked into the whirlwind of work on your phone at that risk. All right? It's a fact. Your number one most profitable lead source for new listings comes from the past client sphere and existing lead nurtures in your CRM. The challenge is, how do you stay in touch so they remember you? And how do you do it in a way where you're the guest, not the pest, while communicating your unique value that commands a full commission? That's the solution we're going to go through. There's a 3-step plan. We first are going to talk about today how to properly reconnect with your neglected contacts. I'm going to walk you through it. That's the first thing. Second, you will put them all on a 36-touch nurture program, ideally with video. It doesn't have to be. It just needs to be something educational. Audio, written, preferably video so people get to know you. And then based upon who interacts with the stuff you're sending out to your database, 3, you're going to prioritize your appointment setting to those who happily respond or are engaged. Now, if you ask any top producing listing agent where most of their business comes from, what's the answer? The database and their clients. You don't hear that very often because it's not the most exciting thing to hear. But if you go to any of the top agents in any of the markets, you ask them, where is a healthy amount? Maybe it's not 51, 60%, but a solid amount of the profit that's left over without having to spend all the money to get it, what's a big chunk of your business? And it is past clients, sphere, and database. It truly, truly, truly is. And I challenge you to be careful when you see everything on Facebook and you see all these interesting ways to do business. That's a piece of it. But the real foundation, like Brent said, is the list. And I want you to really think about if you went to your broker and you got a list of all your transactions. Let's really drill this down to the foundation here. If you went to your broker and you got a list of your transactions, and I forced you like address by address by address of your listings, not your buyers. Let's focus really on listings. And I were to ask you where it came from. Think about the past listings you represented and where it came from. Think about the specific addresses. Think about right now what the source of that business was. Where did it originate? And for most of us in this room, it's going to be someone who spent a lot of time with you. It's been referred to you. It's a past client or sphere, and that's where the source was. But it's hard to work your database because there's a lot of fear of rejection. There's a lot of fear of what I'm going to say. Am I feeling like am I the pest, or can I be the guest? What's the right way to work it? And the reality is, one of the other challenges with a database is usually people think it's their email list. It's this big, massive email list of leads that you've acquired over the years that you effectively have to feel like you're spamming. It's not true. The reality is, for a lot of top producing listing agents, a great sized database is maybe about, 100's great, but like 1,000 is like the top of Everest. If you have 1,000 names that you could go through and be like, that person knows me, or I know them, or that person knows me, or I know them, or that person knows me, and I know them, and you went through it, that is a huge list. And arguably speaking, in the industry of actual listing agents, taking listings, closing deals, being profitable, about 10% of those 1,000 real relationships will give you a deal in some way, whether they hire you or they refer you to it. That's 100 listings from a very closely tuned, parsed list of essentially 1,000 people. And I just want to ground you a bit, because sometimes you might log into your CRM and you see 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 emails from buyer leads over the years. Yes, there's value in staying in touch with those, but I want you to think about the real relationships. I'll speed through this a little bit. Most people find their agent through referral, neighbor, or relative. All right, we know this. I'm done selling you on the list. Now here's what I want you to do. I'm going to walk you through the process. I want you to really think about right now, if we need business and we need listings and we have to get appointments, we don't have a lot of money, we don't have a lot of time, and we need to find someone who will take an appointment with us and actually list with us and successfully close by listening to our advice, that whole timeline, not just getting a lead. If I were to ask any of you in this room, where is a spreadsheet with the names and contact information of everyone you helped buy or sell a home in the past, do you have it? Think this through. Do you have a spreadsheet somewhere, or very quickly could pull it, of everyone that you've helped buy or sell a home in the past? For those of you that have been doing this for 20 plus years, maybe it's with a couple brokers, and it's scattered around many areas. How many of you, within 5 minutes of me asking that question, can pull that list of names, and arguably let's even say their phone numbers and email addresses? How many of you have that list? Raise your hand, it's okay. Beautiful. Great. Congratulations. That's one of the hardest things to have to start to deliver on our promise, stay in touch with your neglected list. For those of you who don't, a couple of tips. Go to your broker, ask for it. They legally have it. If you switch brokers, go to the last broker you were with. Say, could you give me a list of everyone that I represented that I got paid a commission on, and can you give it to me, and put it in a spreadsheet sitting on your desktop of their names. You may not have their contact information, that's okay, we can get it later, but get a spreadsheet of your actual past clients. We're going to do something with them today, and they need to be somewhere where we can pull them. Second, I want you to think next. And really think here. I'm going to slow down because you really have to think about this, because it's one thing to say it, but you actually have to do it to really get business. I want you to think of your Facebook friends. This is a good place to start. If you logged into Facebook or whatever social media program you use, most likely Facebook, and you clicked your friends list, it's going to pull up a pile of friends, pictures of all your friends, and probably the people you are probably more stay in touch with are near the top. And if you scroll through that list, and you look at all those names of people that would recognize you or people that you know, and it keeps going on and on and on. And these aren't necessarily people that will hire you, but maybe they could refer you or introduce you or copy you on an email or copy you on a text to someone that knows who's a good real estate, because most people find their agent by referral. Those individuals, your actual friends, family, acquaintances, again, looking at your Facebook friends as the memory jogger to help you with this. This is a more difficult one. Do you have a spreadsheet somewhere? First name, last name, ideally address, phone number, email, of those people that you would call your sphere or centers of influence, defined as you know them or they know you. It scales more when they know you. I'm going to ask you to raise your hands now. This one's a more difficult one. If I asked you in 5 minutes to have, where's that list of all those people, the actual real contact information, emails, phones, addresses of those individuals? I'm slowing this down because I want you to think about this. This is money. We're talking about where business comes from. How many of you have that list, that spreadsheet somewhere? Raise your hands. It's okay. Let's see the room. Okay, that's a more difficult one. For those of you that didn't raise your hands, when we say getting business from past clients in Sphere, when we talk about database, this is the work. Having the list. Got it? Here's my recommendation to you. Let's just use Facebook as a shortcut. You can go into Facebook, and you can download all your data. They let you do this. Go into Facebook, go into your settings, download your data. It'll download a list of all your Facebook friends. It will not have their contact information. I wish it did. But it will put all the first name and last names of all of your connections on a spreadsheet for you effectively. And then you can very easily, much easier, go through and delete and add with the criteria. Do I know them or do they know me? If your name was mentioned in some way, and you keep them on the list. When I do workshops, no one really necessarily likes doing these things, but we call the past brokers, we get the past client list, we get a spreadsheet, and then I have them build maybe, let's say, 150 people, 200 people's maybe par for most people a sphere center of influence list. I have them actually build it in a spreadsheet by doing that through Facebook. Think about that. If you're here to stay in touch with your neglected contacts, I can't get around the fact we have to build the list. Are we all in agreement with this? To execute, to make money, this is the work, right? All right, let's keep going. Third list we need to be able to do anything we're going to talk about today. I need a list. We have to market to it. Third list. I want you to think about all the buyers and seller leads you've generated over the years. Some of you are probably running find out what your home is worth call to actions. Maybe you're running search for homes and people are opting on your website, right? I see a lot of nodding heads. Maybe you're running a cash offer, doing an off-market cash offer on your property. Individuals are opting in from wherever, all right? You have your CRM they most likely go into, or they're scattered in email notifications. If I were to say, this one's a lot easier because you probably have a CRM that does this, but I were to say, hey, can you pull a list for me of anyone that has put their information into a form, anyone that's come in from an open house, anyone that you've talked to for maybe you're doing prospecting and you're calling through a neighborhood and someone says, yeah, I'm thinking of selling in the future, stay in touch with me, so you get a nurture from your cold prospecting. Think about it, because everyone's different where the stuff is. Where is it? Can you export it? And can you get a spreadsheet of those leads, a spreadsheet on your desktop? Past clients on your desktop, centers of influence and sphere on your desktop, lead nurture spreadsheet, very tangible on your desktop. How many of you will be able to pull that list in about 5 minutes of your lead nurtures? Raise your hand, let's see the room. Good, congratulations. For those of you who raised your hands, you can pull the list. For those of you that were thinking through and your mind's ticking as I say these things, as I slow down and help you create the gravity of let's find the database in the first place, go into your CRM, there's many, run a search for all contacts. Got it? Just search for all contacts. If it's possible, go ahead and suppress and leave out anyone who's unsubscribed or bounced. And as long as you haven't uploaded into your CRM any massive cold lists that you've purchased, because most people haven't, leave those out if you have, pull it, export it. Go to Google right now, type in how to export my contacts from whatever CRM you're using. There will be instructions. Pull the whole thing, export it, but maybe leave out the bounces and unsubscribes when it comes to email. How are we doing?
Good.
This is the work. I want you, what is it?
What do we call that?
That's your lead nurtures. And you might have your past clients and sphere in there too. That's fine, because when we get through this exercise of actually executing and making money at this, when we deduplicate it and scrub it, you don't have to worry about those things. But right now at this point, I want you to think about, I want to ground ourselves. Spreadsheet on your desktop of past clients, spreadsheet on your desktop of friends, family, sphere, maybe mine from Facebook friends as a shortcut, spreadsheet of all your lead nurtures. If I walked into your office and you showed me those 3 spreadsheets, game on. Game on. We can do some fun stuff, can't we? Yeah. Woo! That gets me excited, right? When I see those lists, it excites me because I'm not doomed to cold calling all the time. I'm not doomed to having to prove myself to strangers. I see ease. I see opportunity. I see people calling me. I see more money. I see more profit. I see more margin when I see spreadsheets. It's true. All right? Okay. Now I want you to think. I want you to think about this. Again, we're slowing down. Past clients, sphere, lead nurtures. Those are all people, human beings, real people. We are in real estate. Let's throw some ideas out in the room, shall we? I'll repeat it back into the microphone. If you were them, and you were going to receive something from your real estate agent or a real estate agent, what would you want? What would you want? Think about the people on that list. What would you want? Let's get one idea. What would you want to receive from your real estate agent? Yes?
Actual written information instead of just generated spam.
Perfect. Relevant, useful content instead of generated spam. These might be things if you want to maybe jot these things down. I'm giving you how to think about marketing. Marketing is all about figuring out what people want and giving it to them. What's something else the audience would want? Or your audience, let's say, of the people in these spreadsheets, I'm sorry. Great, I'm thinking about you. I know about you personally. Happy birthday. Knowing important dates in people's lives. Write that one down. That's what people want. Truly. Little tip, by the way, side tip. When I come from the B2B prospecting world, if you're trying to know a date for a business owner, if you're trying to get a CEO or a business owner and win them over and woo them, go look at the date they incorporated their company on the Secretary of State's website and send them a birthday card for when they started their company every year. I was taught that. I really like that from the financial advisory space. What else? What else would people want, Frank? Market updates. How's the market? More specifically, what's going on with home prices? That's really what they're asking, right, with market update? What's going on with home prices? Yes?
Be a resource. Maybe they need a pool, maybe they need a new roof, maybe they need to know like what's happening with goes on else. Like vendor risk.
Commonly asked questions and pitfalls to avoid as a homeowner. Commonly asked questions, pitfalls to avoid, what you need to know to maintain the value of your home and do it right. This is what they want, right? Write this stuff down. Let's get a few more. Keep going. Thank you.
Maybe local gift card or discounts to like top-tier restaurants or anything.
That's cool. Coupons. Great idea. Hey, I went to a vendor. I negotiated a buy one, get one. I want to give you a special coupon to one of my vendors in the space, in the area. Let's get two more. Two more things you think people want back here, in blue.
One thing I like is if you got a good contractor, maybe there's a windstorm and the fences are all down, let someone know about it.
Windstorm, there's a need in the marketplace, you know a good contractor, send out maybe an interview with the contractor, some insights with the contractor, introduce that person. Obviously, here's someone you can trust that won't take advantage of you that you kind of usually think in the contracting world sometimes that you should use. Sending that out. Love it. We're getting one more idea. Over here.
I think a personal anecdote, just something going on personally in your lives that they can connect with. I always get tons of responses.
Yeah.
Just something fun. Our son just got married. We sent a thing out. Tons of people responded. Congratulations.
So sending out something personal, inspirational, insightful, something meant to connect with someone as a human and maybe not so much as a professional business transaction of hiring as your realtor. Yes to all those things. But I want you to see the exercise. There's the market. What do they want? Let's think it through. We can also do a focus group and ask them for what it's worth. But let me give you a couple of things after 15 years of knowing this that you can also add to that list. Are you guys ready? Question and answer. This one, all the time. What are the questions people are asking? What are the questions you're getting from homeowners right now, if you're listening? What are the questions you're getting when you're prospecting? What questions are you getting at closing? What questions are you getting during the transaction? What questions do you get when you go to the charity fundraiser and you're the realtor and people ask you? Listen, write them down. You are supplying that demand for information. You guys catch that? You're supplying demand. Second option besides Q&A, success stories. The story has three parts: problem, turnaround, solution. Character has issue, character finds guide, character succeeds. Character fights dragon, character gets princess. It's the 3-step story, all right? I want to tell you a quick story about a seller that was having a challenge selling their house. I want to tell you a story about somebody that was really struggling to sell their home or buy a home or get financing or whatever, and they were having these issues. So I stepped in, I analyzed the situation, I made up this plan, I came up with this strategy, and it solved the problem. And here's what the person, and here's what the seller, here's what the buyer was able to accomplish. And I wanted to share this story with you because if you're in that situation or you know someone who's in that situation, you might find it helpful. Thanks for watching and reading. You guys like that? So Q&A, stories, and everything else that we shared. So I added this point. Put yourself, again, I'm going to pull back again. Spreadsheet on your desktop of past clients. Ground yourself. Spreadsheet on your desktop of your sphere. Spreadsheet. You look at see the names. It's not conceptual of your lead nurtures. What do they want? What do they demand? You are going to supply to stay in touch, to reconnect. We came up with a bunch of excellent ideas. Do that. Yes to all of it. If it didn't make that list, stop it. Are we clear? Because you're kind of coming up with stuff that maybe you want to send, but it might not be what the market wants. And there's a disconnect in your messaging and your content. That's a marketing concept. So here's something I want you to think about, especially as a professional, especially as somebody who is going to be receiving money to protect and guide and calm uncertainty in someone in a stressful transaction, right? When you think about your content and you think about stuff you're posting on social media to stay in touch, one of the principles I want you to think of is it so useful? Maybe is it so personal? But maybe is it supplying their demands so well that arguably, making the argument that someone would be willing to pay for it? What I like to think of is everybody in my database is spending $1 a month on a subscription with me. Every single person in my database has signed up for $1 a month, subscription plan. It's a way to think about it, right? And if everybody in that list, because they're getting emails and social media, is giving me their attention, let's call their attention's worth $1, all right? Am I honoring that with whatever I'm putting out? It's a standard that if I were to look at what you're sending and you're staying in touch with your list with, if it's so good someone's willing to spend money to receive it, or it honors if someone's paying that subscription of $1, you've hit a quality standard that this is good stuff. It's actually of a higher quality to send. And one of the challenges is it's really hard when you're in profession, doing your job, to create lots of that content. It's really only a matter about maybe creating a few key pieces a month and sending it out of a higher quality so it's so good someone's actually willing to spend money to get. And now you're starting to feel a little more comfortable with your database. You see where it is. You know what they want. We're going to step up our game and have the assumption they're spending $1 a month to see it. All right? And now I want to share with you, before we get into the solution, how to solve this. As we go into a more, arguably, relatively speaking, a more difficult market to put deals together, where it's a skills-based business. You've heard this. It's not just the phone's ringing and deals are falling together at over asking price and without any, conditions in 24 hours like we were in. Sellers, which is really the focus, and buyers too, but really more sellers, are looking for certainty. They're looking for someone who gives them certainty to guide the sale to a close. And the way that you deliver certainty to a client is really twofold as a professional. You are able to articulate your competence and your expertise and your knowledge on the issue to guide somebody, and you can articulate your track record. We're getting really specific now to getting someone to hire you at the content. And something I want you to think about in all professional services, if you look at law firms of why one lawyer charges so much more than another, or why one professional hourly rate is $1 gazillion more than someone else, it's not necessarily from their, all of their resume of why they're able to command these fees. I'll tell you the reason why one professional can command a heck of a lot more of a commission or a billable hour rate than someone else. I will give you this. And if you think about this and you use this to guide you throughout your career, people will pay more for a feeling than anything else. It's a feeling of safety in professional services. It's a feeling of certainty. It's a feeling of someone's guiding me. It's someone that has your back and is going to take care of things so you can be at peace of mind. The more certain the seller wants to feel, the higher price they're going to pay. Price elasticity in professional services, real estate's one, but all professional services, of how much someone's willing to pay is how much certainty of that feeling you could instill in your client. The more certainty that you can instill in the client through your content, through staying in touch, through educating, answering questions, what we're going to talk about today, the more likely you're going to get chosen from your brand, and the more likely the person's going to pay the fee that you ask. How do you feel on that? Does that feel right that someone is looking for certainty when they're hiring a professional, and your ability to communicate that drives that in your material? Okay. So here's where we're at so far. You guys are here to connect with your neglected database. You thought about your 3 sources for your spreadsheet. You see it sitting on your desktop and where to go get it. We understand that we need to start sending them stuff they want, and we came up with some ideas. Okay? And we also understand from a professional services standpoint, let's really talk about answer some really hard questions and give our answers and tell some stories of how you really helped navigated sales and you were a professional and why you deserve the commission that you charge to show your competence and expertise and deliver certainty into your database. All right? Let's move on. We're getting the more exciting stuff now. How are we doing? Okay. That was the hardest part. We're done. The hardest part of working someone's database, I am telling you, after 15 years of doing this, is getting the list. The list and pulling the list so we can actually stay in touch with it is the hardest part. And there's some shortcuts that we're going to go into later. And then getting really grounded that I got to do a better job at staying in touch with it, and I got to send them things they actually want. Done. Moving past, let's go to a solution. Here we go. Let's execute. All right. So, 4 things, and I'm going to give you the plan. The first step, I'm going to tell you a story. There's an agent out of Myrtle Beach that had 30 agents coming in every morning and prospecting. This is about maybe 6-7 years ago. 30 agents would come in every day, and they would make their calls for 3 hours, maybe 4 hours every single morning, and would probably speak to about 30 people every single day, those 30 agents. If you do the math, those agents spoke to 900 people a day. I want you to think about the energy and the sheer amount of human effort to wake up in the morning, put on the suit, get into the office, role play, get the list, get on the phones, get excited, everyone coming together, the leadership, the recruiting, the office space, the music, the sound, the phones, the list. Think of all of the work that goes into getting all those homeowners on the phone, let alone all the no's and emotional work someone has to go through to speak to all those people. Can we all relate to the work that takes to go prospect? Say yes. Yes. Okay? I asked him, I said, man, you're talking to 900 people a day in the office. It's crazy. That's really a really incredible feat of leadership and recruiting and training. But he said, how can we maximize it more? I'm like, well, I mean, first thing that comes to my mind is, can we turn your agents into a human opt-in form? Can we turn them into when someone says no or I'm not interested or they talk to somebody on the phone, can we add a little piece to the script? Could we say, hey, totally get it, you're not interested in selling right now, not going to go for an appointment, but look, we publish the Myrtle Beach real estate newsletter. We publish helpful videos answering commonly asked questions and telling stories about homeowners overcoming problems, and we want to send it to you. It's free. Would you like a free subscription? What's your best email address? You guys catch that? Okay. This is one of those aha moments. Calls up all the agents and says, look, I'm going to give you guys some forms. We're going to go on our whiteboard. It's going to have, how many dials, how many contacts, how many contracts, how many pendings, how many closings. They added one more line before appointments. It's how many subscribers. They added how many subscribers between contact and appointment, or maybe leads somewhere in there. And they said, can we slow down and can we ask people permission to get their best email address while they're on the phone? Get this, with that script I just gave you, a little under 30% of people on the phone said, sure, here's my email. Let's do the math. That's 300 a day. 300 people a day were like, here's my actual real email address, and you can send me your newsletter. From the phones, from all that work, going into the database to be able to get the nurture program we're going to go through. How much did that cost? Whew. Okay. I want you to take the gravity of this. If we can slow down when you're doing your numbers and you're tracking your calls and your dials and your appointments, and we can add one line in there that says subscribers to ask permission to stay in touch, to put them on, let's just use an easy term that resonates with the market, your newsletter, your Sacramento real estate newsletter, where you answer commonly asked questions that buyers and sellers are asking. You let people know what's going on with the direction of home prices, right? And maybe you tell stories about some people overcoming challenges to actually get deals done that are current right now. Would you like to get a free subscription? What's your best email address? If we added that to everyone on your team prospecting, you added that and you brought awareness above your computer when you were calling and you asked for it, that's what's going to build your wealth of future business, of people calling you, whereas the now prospecting builds your income. You have the income of your now prospecting, get the appointments, and you slow down and ask for the email address to add it to your list that you can put people on. That's permission of a real person with a real email, not like a fake online one. That's really powerful. So I want you to step back and think. Do you set aside time to prospect? Yes, sure. How much work does that take? Slow down, offer people a free subscription to your real estate newsletter. Start doing that now. Every time you're prospecting, every time you're doing lead follow-up, whenever you're on the phone, whenever you're talking to anybody, if you have agents on your team, tell them this story. Let's teach them how to build their wealth. Let's teach them how to build their list. Let's teach them how to stay in touch with the list. Slow down, start offering people a free subscription. In this case, your Sacramento real estate newsletter. Got it? Think about all the contacts you're making every single month. Think about all the money you're leaving on the table. That does not cost you anything, just some focus to ask that question. Good.
Great.
Let's keep going. Number 2. These are in the notes. So now we have a system to build the list when you're prospecting. You're going to ask for subscribers. Now, step 2, to reconnect with your neglected database. We're going to build it the right way, free. We're going to build it. We just shared how to do that. We're going to go to those 3 spreadsheets, okay? Your existing database, your past clients in Sphere, and we're going to grab those individuals. We're going to grab those 3 spreadsheets, and we're going to have a system to build it by asking for email addresses. And we're going to put all that into an email marketing program, and we're going to put it all into something where they can receive your messages. So we're going to build the database, and we're going to reconnect with the existing one. We already went through that system. There it is. There's the audience. Now we're going to set aside time, and we're going to create some content that people want. We're going to set aside some time, and we're going to answer some questions, and we're going to tell some stories. I'm going to break down exactly how to do that. And then you're going to follow up with those people that are consuming it, and you're going to answer the inbound calls from the stuff that you send out. That's all you have to do. Frank, how do I reconnect with my database? After I gave you some of the theory, offer your free newsletter subscription, connect with your existing contacts, send them helpful stuff, a couple messages a month, see who engages with it, prioritize your phone calls, or wait for people to reach out to you because you have good calls to action, you have a good recipe, which I'm going to give you. Let's go to the first slide. Let's break down exactly how to do this. Now, we're going to make it happen. So, where's my slide thing? Here we go. All right, everyone. Do you guys have your cell phones? Let's have some fun. I'm going to give you guys a shortcut instead of having to manually build your sphere list, I'd like you to go to the App Store right now on your phone. I want you to find this app. It costs a little money. I'm going to ask you to buy it. No, I don't get any commission or any business on it. All right? It's worth it. You don't have to do it if it's not worth a couple bucks. But do you guys see this app in the App Store or whatever you're using on your phone, Export Contacts by Covey? And I'm just curious, by the way, is everyone getting the same price in the room on this?
It says your personal CRM.
No, not the personal CRM. We want the Export Contacts by Covey. Is there a price that you guys see on your phones? Is it $3.99 for everybody? Sometimes when I do it, it's different pricing for different people. I always wonder why that is. All right. Go ahead and buy it if you like right now. What this is going to do is very easily export all of the contacts that you have in your cell phone to a spreadsheet in 2 seconds. And you can email it to yourself. This is going to be a shortcut to your sphere list. All right? Instead of going through Facebook and building it manually, that takes time. I need results today. I need results now. You probably have a lot of email contacts in your cell phone. We're going to do something with them today. So did anyone download it and buy it? How many contacts do you have?
7,381.
7,381. Export it, send it to yourself. Perfect. Who's next? How many contacts do we have in there? 2,200. Export it, send it to yourself. Frank, how many we got? 6,900. How many years in the business? 21.
Don't ask Johnny.
Who else? How many contacts do you have from Covey?
5,384.
How much?
5,384.
5,384. We have a room full of realtors that know lots of people. These are very large lists. My question to you, what? Ask Johnny. How? 15,000 in Johnny's phone. All right? This is going to get exciting now because now we're going to put the rubber to the road. We're not going to talk about conceptual stuff. I want you to think about how much business is sitting in that list. If we can send them something they want and do it in a way that makes sense, and to do it in a way where you feel like you are truly the guest and not the pest. So just hang in there with me when you're like, Frank, what are you asking me to do with all these people? This is crazy. Hang in there with me. We'll get to the messaging and you'll feel confident. But the first thing I want you to do is download that and let's grab that spreadsheet and let's put it on your desktop. I'm going to consider that pretty much a shortcut to all of your past clients and Sphere. Sound good? What's next? Hang on. Does anyone here have their laptops by chance? It's okay to open them up right now if you want to. There's another place where you can get it. If you want to grab it and you can open it, you can follow along with me on this. But we're going to grab all this contacts out of your cell phone. Go ahead back here. Sometimes you may not have the contact information. It's a shortcut. It may not actually be in the spreadsheet. So in your phone, it may not have ever synced email addresses, but if you scroll through all of it, they may be in there, and we're going to grab whatever we can from any emails of any contacts we have in your cell phone. Okay? Now, if you want to pull up your laptop, how many of you use Gmail or Google Workplace for your email communication? Most of us do, or you use Outlook. All right? Yep, you do. Pull up your Gmail, or I'd like you to go to contacts.google.com. Contacts.google.com. Now, this would be hard on your cell phone, okay? You probably have to do it on your laptop. But this is going to pull up all the people you've ever emailed, ever. And they're probably saved in your Google contacts or in your Outlook contacts. Question?
I've got 11,000 contacts, not quite as deadly as Johnny, but a lot of them are non-realistic related, like vendors.
We're still going to email them because they can refer you. You'd be surprised.
Okay, so I feel like I need to clean it up before I do that. Is that a...
We're going to go through it, actually.
Okay, cool.
We are going to clean it up. Yep, we're going to talk about cleaning up and what to send them. But if you go into your Google contacts, just trust in my process here. And you export all the Google contacts. So when you're there, you'll find these little 3x3 dots in the upper right-hand side. You're going to click that. You're going to your Google contacts. You will see other contacts on the left-hand side. You're going to select that. And it's going to pull up everybody. And you're going to go, whoa, I didn't know this was even here. All right? You can select them all, export it, now you have a spreadsheet. This is possible to do. Make a little note for yourself to learn how to export your Google or Outlook contacts. I wish there was an app for it. There isn't. I need to make it. Sell it for $4 if I'm speaking. All right? Yeah. On your desktop, you now have all your cell phone contacts, and now you have all of your Google contacts. We are here to reconnect with our neglected database, right? Your database is hiding in those contacts as a shortcut way without having to manually build it, which is where I wanted to start, to get them now and get them today and get you business immediately by getting some good messaging to all those individuals. Okay? And last but not least is you have exporting your CRM. You can go and grab that. Now, when you do this, here's the next step. This is a program. There's many of them out there. Most people don't know this. It's called neverbounce.com. There's many of these companies. But if you take all these contacts, let's be honest, most of the email addresses are not good. The email addresses in your cell phone, the email addresses you have in your CRM, the email addresses that you have from whatever sources you pull from all your database aren't ideal. So we have to clean them. This is very inexpensive. You take those spreadsheets that I showed you how to get reconnected with your neglected database of all those emails, you upload them here. It scrubs all the ones that are undeliverable, and you download a 99.9% deliverable email list of the ones that will actually get delivered and not get you shut down or flagged or go into the spam when you actually send out a reconnect message to your list. Neverbounce.com. And there's many competitors out there. But I want you to know, before we ever send out any email or any social media, really anything, let's scrub and let's clean the list first. So now it's getting kind of exciting. You're like, okay, I need some business now. I got to get some listings going on. I need some action. I don't have a lot of time. I don't have a lot of money. I need to work my database more. Well, let's grab these lists. Let's scrub them through Neverbounce. All right? Let me go back. Now, what email programs do you guys use? Give me some examples of email programs that you use to send out any newsletters now. What are some of the ones that you guys like to use? MailChimp? MailChimp? High level? Haven't heard of that. Happy Grasshopper, wonderful. GMass, so I've heard of that one. Be careful with that one. That one uses your like main domain versus like an email server's domain, but yes, that works. What else? Any other fancy email programs out there? No? Constant Contact, MailChimp. One that we use that we like is called Emma, E-M-M-A. But I want you to go sign up for an email marketing program. There's many of them. And you're going to take those scrubbed email lists and you're going to upload them into those email programs. And when you take the scrubbed email lists and you upload them into one of those email programs, it'll automatically deduplicate all the emails. So now, inside of an email marketing program, you have a scrubbed, deduplicated list of all the email addresses of anyone you've ever communicated with that may or may know you to like a loose version of a definition, ready to receive an email message from you very quickly. Are you guys digging what we just did there? Yes. I could sit down with any of you, go through that lesson, and be ready for those people to receive a high-quality message that you're not embarrassed by, that positions you as the guest and not the pest. I'm going to give you the message here. But not only do you want to take that email list and put it into an email marketing account, how many have heard of online retargeting? Has anyone ever heard of remarketing or retargeting? Raise your hand if you've heard of retargeting before. Not too many. Let's explain retargeting. Retargeting or remarketing is that same email list where I showed you how to get it that we put into the email marketing account to start receiving messages from you for you to stay in touch of things that people want. You could take that same list and you can upload it to Facebook. You go into Facebook, there's an ad account, but you can upload it to Facebook. Now it's Meta. you can upload it there. And the addresses, names, phone numbers, if somebody used that email address or that phone number in their Facebook profile or their social media profiles, it'll match it. Boom. And when you create a message, not only can you email it out to your list, but you can also post it on social media and put a little bit of money into it, not much, maybe $1 a day or $2 a day, you don't need much. And it will put that message on their newsfeed if the information in the list matches the user account. How does that sound? Isn't that exciting? We're talking about social media, we're talking about database, we're talking about reconnecting with your list. So at this point, if we did this, and there's many contractors on Fiverr, you can ask around, I'm giving you the strategy to do these things. You now have all of your contacts to the best of your ability as a shortcut, ready to receive an email, and when you write something on social media, to put a little boost behind it so you know your database actually sees it versus like the organic reach you get may not be much. Exciting, huh? Question?
I'm sorry, so how do we make the list for retargeting?
Well, the list is very simple. It's called a custom audience inside Facebook. It's called, you just Google custom audience Facebook. It'll show you how to do it. And it's basically to say log into your ad account, upload spreadsheet. You guys have probably uploaded a spreadsheet before. It'll give you the match rate, and now there's an audience or there's a list that you can boost a social media post to. So if we came up with a quality message, boom, email, social media, out to your database. There it is. How does that sound? Good stuff, huh? Yeah. Okay? Go ahead. Good questions, by the way. Feel free to ask some questions. I'll repeat them back into the microphone.
So if you put that out there, or if you create just posts on your feed and someone engages with it, is there a way to track the pixel and for it to automatically?
Yes. So retargeting, you can go down a whole rabbit hole of additional retargeting. You can also follow around all the people that visit your website. You know when you go to a website and you see their ads everywhere? That's retargeting. And the people that interact with your social media, you can retarget those individuals as well. But the big thing I'm focusing on is the database. Okay? So this is how we reconnect. So we have these lists ready to go. So now I want to give you guys the message. I'm going to give you the message of what to say in that email that will get your phone to ring. I'm going to give you the message to post on social media that you could boost to that list. Because remember, you're also building the list too by staying in touch with people and you're adding to it. What do you say? What does the email say? I'll give it to you. Here we go. Now, subject line is maybe excited to reconnect with you. And I want you to feel what I'm saying. It's more important that you feel what I'm about to say, because this is going to everyone in your entire life you've known ever from all different walks of life, and it's absolutely terrifying to do this for the very first time. Are we clear? I want you to feel the feeling of the writing. I'm excited to reconnect with you. Simple text email, don't need any images. It just says friends, clients, and people I've met over the years. I wanted to write you briefly to let you know that yes, I am selling real estate here in Sacramento. And if you're getting this email, it's because maybe we've done a transaction together, we know each other, or we're connected on social media in some way. Okay? The reason I write you is existing home sales, I don't have the exact information, but they're low. The amount of homes selling relatively in Sacramento versus what they were are low. And a lot of the information that you see online that maybe you hear about the national real estate market isn't necessarily what you hear that's going on here in our Sacramento market. I've also been getting more questions from homeowners about their home value and more questions in a real estate transaction because what's the average days on market now? 60? It's going up. It's about 60 days to sell a home, which is very different than maybe what it was to get a deal done. So I've decided to step it up for you, and I plan on answering some of the most commonly asked questions I get from homeowners, buyers, and sellers here in Sacramento. I plan on answering them for you and sending them to you. In fact, I'm just going to send you maybe 2 helpful videos a month. It could be 2 articles a month, 2 podcasts a month. I'm not really tied to video, but I'm going to send you 2 helpful pieces of content a month answering those questions. I'm also going to tell you some stories of how people are overcoming challenges in their transaction. So if you find yourself in that situation or you know someone, it can be helpful to you. Now, I know this email is out of the blue, and maybe you haven't heard from me in a while. And if you don't want to hear from me again, and you don't want to receive my videos or helpful updates, just scroll down to the bottom and unsubscribe. No hard feelings. But with that, if you've read this far, I do want to let you know one of the top questions I get from homeowners is, what is my home really worth? The values that you see online aren't necessarily accurate because the algorithms can't price in the unique condition of your home. And if you have any interest of knowing what your home is worth because you're thinking about putting it on the market, just click here and let me know. You can put your information in and we'll talk, or call me. And if you're thinking of buying a home, I could also let you in. I'm fast, I'm quick, I'll get there, I got a team, but I make it very painless to go see a property that you want. And if that's the case, you can let me know too. And if you ever have any questions about buying or selling and you're uncertain about a transaction, or you're worried about the price or a deal falling through, I am your guy or gal. Call me. This is my cell phone. This is my email. I'm here to help. And you pay me nothing unless a deal actually goes through. So effectively, my advice is free unless you buy something or sell something. Thanks for reading all this. Look forward to staying in touch. Feel free to forward this to anyone that you think that might need to buy or sell. Your name. How's that? How do you feel after I read that? Do you have a question back here? All text, just text. Plain text, no graphics. Remember, this is a lot of people kind of getting it's a loose version of your friends and family getting this first email. And they're going to get this. It should look very personal. It shouldn't have a lot of branding or, a bunch of nonsense on it yet. All right? Maybe not nonsense, but you know what I mean. It's not nonsense, but initially I'm trying to say it's the stripped down version of the most essential version of a basic email you would send someone. Arguably, it could look like you just wrote it in Gmail and sent it. All right? How did you feel when I read you that message? Go ahead.
Calm, happy.
Calm, happy. Engaged. Supported. How else did you feel when I read that to you?
Well, I had a question.
Question, Frank.
You were genuine.
Did you send it,
Genuine.
would you send it via, using Emma?
Yes, Emma, Constant Contact, any email program you want. To your deduplicated, scrubbed, existing database. You guys catch this? How else did you feel when I read that message? Give me some more words. Personal. One more. Sincere. There you go. You send that out, you'll have people yell at you. Just delete them. You're also going to have people saying, wow, it's been a long time, man. Good for you. It's funny you email me. Thinking about selling. When can we talk? You might get that. You might get some people opting in for their home value. You might get some people registering on your website. You'll have a lot of opt-outs, and that's fine. Great. They didn't click report spam. I'll take the opt-outs. Are we clear? Because you told them to opt out, and you were humble about it. And they're not going to click that spam button. They click unsubscribe. And now once that first initial reconnect message goes out and they kind of hit the bounce hit and you get everything else, you are now left with the asset. There it is. To continue to receive communication from you and for you to continue to build like the story that we shared of when you're doing prospecting, inviting people for a subscription to your newsletter. Go ahead, questions. I take them.
I have a question.
Yes.
I don't know if it pertains to a lot of people in here, but I've been in 2 different markets. So I spent 10 years in Mendocino County and Sonoma County. I'm here for a year now. So I have a big mix. And
Open your message. And you may know me because for a long time I worked here and now I work here. And you may know me because I worked in a couple different markets. This is why I'm messaging you. But I would just change the messaging where I'm going to answer the questions I'm hearing all the time right on the ground. I wouldn't say maybe it's specific to an area. We can change and we can adjust that messaging. Here's the takeaway. I'll get to you just 1 second here. Here's the takeaway. It's how you made them feel in the writing. It wasn't really what I said. And if I could take every single one of you and sit you down, and if you came to me and said, I got to reconnect with my database, I got to do something, That's the first step I would take you through. Grab those lists, get that message out, and get some action coming in. Knowing that we're going to have some unsubscribes, we're going to have some angry people, that's fine. Marketing is designed to separate the interested from the uninterested, and we can move forward. Yes?
How would you phrase the introduction to that someone who's new to real estate?
Well, excited to connect with you. Same intro. Hey, the reason I'm writing you is that, I may have used to know you from my time when I worked in what?
Telematics.
Where? Telematics. You may be a friend or family member. The reason I'm writing you because you may know me from our existing relationship for this reason. And I want to let you know that I'm selling real estate, still selling real estate, very active, but I've been busy. But there's this demand for more knowledge that I want to, quench that thirst and send this stuff out to help you. If you don't want it, you can unsubscribe, but I want to send it to you. But with that, I'm here to help. I'm telling you, if you want to reconnect with your neglected database, is what we're talking about today, that's the very first step to do. Question back here.
Is this legal? Because they didn't really opt in.
So, yes. So there's terms of service, there's legal. Go take a look at the Can-Spam Act. You have your contact information at the bottom. You have the unsubscribe link. There's the loosest definition of a pre-existing relationship. It is loose, right? It's a very humble email, and you're telling people to unsubscribe. The email service providers just don't want people hitting that report spam link. The report spam link is what takes you down. And if that goes out, and it's humble, and there's no issues, and people unsubscribe, and it's not like this really hardcore sales message, you just move on and everything's just fine. But legally it is.
But you're assuming that they didn't opt out and they're opting in.
Yeah, technically go check out a permission pass of how that works. But I will tell you, it's just the same idea with calling people, what's the nature of the relationship, reaching out, any type of sales or marketing activity. It is not illegal.
It's interruption marketing.
It is, in this case, it is interruptive, but you're just letting them opt out. You don't want to click report spam and you're good. So I would recommend to start with a simple reconnect email with your existing list. And if there is any concerns there, drill it down to whatever list size that you want that you feel is appropriate. Go ahead.
So should the opt-out be further up in the message? And what?
No, right in the middle is just fine. You want to let them know who you are, what you're doing, and then right in the middle you could say, if you don't want to hear from me, you unsubscribe.
What should the subject line be?
Excited to reconnect with you. Works out really well. All right, so let's move on to the second step of this three-step plan. The first step, to go back to what we're here to today, to reconnect with your neglected list, is getting it all in one place to what you got, committing to building it, and let's just get a message out. A helpful, honest, reconnective message that you're confident with and you can help people and you're a leader and you feel good. Now we have to commit to a plan to actually create some content to stay in touch. Are you guys ready for this? It's time to actually create some content people want that is simple and consistent to the point of diminishing marginal returns on effort that gives the most impact for the least amount of effort. Let's do it. I'm going to ask you to commit to 3 messages a month, just 3. It's not too many, and it's not too little. It's the point of diminishing returns on effort. 3 helpful messages a month. On social media, just 3. Not every single day. It has to be higher quality. You can't sustain that. Out by email and social media, 3 messages. In fact, let's call it your 36-touch program. We're going to put a 36-touch program in place with your database. Of those 3 messages, let's do 2 helpful educational messages and 1 offer for immediate response. Let's do 2 helpful educational question and answer, market update, here's some information, here's a story, here's something personal I like to share, and let's do 1 that makes them an offer to generate a lead. That's the right blend. That's the plan. And you could say, Frank, maybe it's 4 or 5 messages, maybe it's a little bit less. The answer lies somewhere in there without going too crazy, where you bite off more than you can chew and you can't keep it up for a decade to stay in touch. with all the chaos of life. All right? So let's go through the process of maybe making a video or a piece of content that your audience wants. Shall we? So, okay, I have to create some content. There's the list. God, I gotta do this. Is pretty much the reaction, right? Okay. I have to figure out what I'm going to say. That's probably the first thing that comes up. Well, what am I going to say? Well, Frank said, let's think of questions and answers. What are some questions that people thinking about buying or selling a house commonly ask that I can send out? And you start thinking about what questions people have been asking you. And then your mind draws a blank. You're like, I have no idea what I'm going to say. Right? So then you pull out something you pre-wrote for the year up front, which I'll just give to you, of a bunch of questions that people commonly ask. I'm going to read you about 12 of them. Does that sound good? Let me give you some. The actual work. This is how to do it. You know where the list is. You know where they can be retargeted. You have your database. You're growing it. We got to send them something to position you as an expert, to articulate your competence, to show that you have some expertise, and to stay in touch and get people to spend time with you and know you and like you at scale. We all get it. That's why you're here. Here we go. Let me give you some examples. What is the best time of year to sell my home? How is the real estate market right now? What steps should I take to prepare my home for sale? What should I disclose to potential buyers? How do I know how much my home is worth? Is the cost of housing finally coming down? No. How could I buy a home before selling my current one? What remodeling projects provide the best ROI? Is this connecting yet? That these are relevant? How long will it take to sell my home this summer? How much does it cost to sell your home now? Will I save money selling without a real estate agent? Why do buyers back out of closing last minute? How do you feel about those questions? Those questions feel relevant to a transaction that you're dealing with today, or someone who's thinking about probably selling their house? You sit down and you think of those questions. You're like, okay, now it's making a little more sense to me. And you pick one. Okay? And now this is one of the other things that hold you back. So the biggest thing that holds people back of why no one works their database is we don't have the list and we don't have it in a place that we can get messaging to. We spent the first part of our time with this. The next big thing is now that I give you a topic, how do I make sense of like what to say and how to structure my content so it actually like does well on social media? I'm going to give you a worksheet. Let's go through it. Here we go. Okay, take a breath. Let's just look at the right-hand side. When you create a piece of content and you create a YouTube video, just make 3 key points. When you answer a question, it's 3 key points. It's 3 chapters in the video. It's 3 things you need to know. It's like the magical amount of content creation is 3 key points. Here's the perfect video. Here's the perfect article. Here's the perfect piece of content for social media that's really designed more to position you as a competent professional, not necessarily just get people to like you by dancing around, let's say. There's 6 scenes. The introduction. That's the upper right. Hi, in this video, I want to answer the question, how long is it going to take to sell your home now in Sacramento this summer? Scene 2, the story. I was on an appointment yesterday with someone who needed to sell their home. They needed to sell a little quickly, more than not. They needed the money, they needed a fast sale, and they asked me how long it's going to take. And they expected it to take a week. Nope. It takes a lot longer now. And I want to go on today in this video the 3 reasons why. That's the story. Now, you come up with 3 key points. 3 points that you want to make to answer the question. And if you're not sure what those key points are, I think the speaker last month talked about AI and ChatGPT. Go ask it, it'll tell you. Sound good? Or just Google it. It's not hard to find them to make your life easier for your 3 key points, but you're gonna have 3 key points. And then last, you're gonna have a call to action. If you've made it this far in the video and need some specific advice for your situation, give me a call, or maybe here's some other resources you can check out. Thanks for watching. So I'd sit down with you, I would take the question, we would write the intro, we would write the story of why you picked this question. I would come up with 3 key points, whether from your own knowledge or maybe from online. And I would write out 6 scenes to the video that could get edited together. You never need to change that formula. That formula will serve you the rest of your life when you create any piece of content. If you take any professional speaker training, or you take any type of other content training, it's usually going to say you start with a story and you make 3 key points on your webinar, or 3 key points from stage, or 3 key points in your content. There you go. All right. Then, once you have your script done, there's some more work that has to get done up front. And once you do this heavy lifting, like we talked about, the difficulty of building the database and getting it, and once you put this plan together that I'm showing you here, it's all downhill. It's like if I could just get the database and figure out what I'm going to say, I can hire some staff to help me make it. But those are the 2 big roadblocks of effectively staying in touch. I think we can all agree with that. So now that you have the script on the right, let's take a look at the left. Here's what you need to think about. The YouTube title, the YouTube description, the words on the thumbnail, what hashtags you want to use, what are some possible email subject lines, what's the preview text in the email, what do you say on the YouTube short? These are things you have to know. There's no way around it. What are you going to write with that piece of content online? And you put it through a worksheet. Or you have someone prepare this for you. And now you know what to say and you're confident with it. And you can show up for your time to actually create the content with a plan. There is nothing more terrifying than showing up to a time you have to speak or create content and you just draw a total blank without any outline or any plan. Can we all agree? This is the real work. So sit down once a month. I will tell you this, as you move through the ranks of business success and you leverage an assistant and a transaction coordinator, and you leverage a team, and you get some buyer's agents, and you get some listing agents, and you get some ISAs, whatever your goals are, and you move up the levels of business with leverage and employees and staff. There's one thing you'll never be able to delegate, even if you're the president. You're sitting down with your speechwriters, you're sitting down with figuring out what to say, what is the content you're going to say for your meeting, your speech, whatever it may be, and you're going to find time to actually go say it. It's something that needs to be in your schedule. If you want to do marketing, time to be creative and get out of the tyranny of the productivity mindset and to sit back and figure out what you're going to say and actually say it needs to be in your schedule for the rest of your life. Just like maybe you put some time in your schedule every single day to prospect or whatever else may be, this is something you need for content creation. Can we all agree with that? You can never delegate it. It will not be delegated. I have never seen any example of, even if you're the CEO of a major corporation, you have earnings calls with Wall Street. You better believe it that you're getting pretty prepared every quarter, figure out what you're going to say, and you're on the ball with that stock price. You have time to figure out what you're going to say, and then you have time to say it at whatever level of business you're at. So don't avoid it. It's a necessary, for many of us, evil. It's just time to do. All right? So there's your worksheet. You have a question, you come up with a story, and you give 3 key points. Question back here? Oh, yes. That's called lorem ipsum. It is. I think it is like a Latin. It's filler text. So when you're a designer and you want to put text somewhere, you use fake text. So all the text in there is fake. It's designed to be deleted and rewritten. And it's kind of a placeholder so you can kind of see how much text there actually is. It's called lorem ipsum. It's what website designers use as a placeholder for you to fill in your content. Okay? Okay. One more question. Move on.
So with your content that you're sending out 3 times a month, are you picking a consistent day?
That is the very next perfect, wonderful question. All right. So let's see where we're at right now. All right, Frank, I've gone through the work. I've gotten my contacts together. I've got them on a spreadsheet. I've loaded them into an email marketing program. I have them maybe set up as a retargeting list for social media. I did it. It was painful, but I sat down, I did it, and you got through my first 30 minutes of my talk, because you have to know it. Thank you. And I managed to get a humble, personal, authentic reconnect email out to all of them, and even maybe a reconnect social media post that was boosted. Whew, awesome. I also have a plan to maybe further look up any missing past clients that I really want in there that maybe not made it through those exports. And I have a plan with all the prospecting I'm doing or the team prospecting we're doing to actually offer subscriptions to continue to build the database of permission-based emails. Got it. I'm doing all that. I also sit down once a month and I think, maybe it's a Saturday morning when I can get out of my back-to-back productivity state of just crushing emails and work and texts, and I can slow down and think, I can actually plan out what I'm going to say for my content. There's no way around it. Everyone has to figure out how to make that a part of their life. I have it. Now you have to make it. Now you have to shoot the video, or you actually have to write it, or you have to record it. No way around it, right? You have to make it. So let me show you the absolute easiest way to do it. One of my friends is a sales trainer, and he says, making videos with someone is the new prospecting role play. You know how you start off with getting into the office sometimes and you're taught how to get good on the phones. You practice with someone who's the other person on the phone of what you're going to say, and you go back and forth and you have a discussion. Sitting down time with someone to actually shoot a video with someone, you help each other shoot your videos together, is like now a normal part of his team and his business of getting people comfortable making content and overcoming the fear of rejection and the public speaking aspects of that, just like you have to overcome the fear of rejection and the skills of making sales calls. All right? So there's a wonderful product out there I want to introduce you all to called Riverside. Riverside.fm. It's incredible. I'm probably one of the top paying customers, well, not paying customers of it, but I have the top end account. Essentially what it is, it's a studio quality Zoom. So instead of hopping on Zoom and doing a Zoom meeting, you would hop on Riverside. And it records the footage from your phone or your webcam right to the hard drive, so it's lossless. There's no loss in the stream. It looks really good. And you just basically find a buddy, you find a partner, you guys match up in here, and you say, hey, Bob, we got to shoot our videos. Okay, when do you want to do it? I don't know. Next Tuesday at 3 p.m. Next Tuesday, 3 p.m. it is. Where are you going to be at? Well, I'm going to be in New York, and I'm going to be in Sacramento. Well, let's just join on this Riverside link. Got it? You guys get together. You have your script, maybe one or two to get ahead of yourself. They have their script, and you help each other shoot videos right from your webcam or from the Riverside app on your phone. And you record the whole process. And you sit down and say, all right, Bob, why don't you go ahead and say the intro for your video? Okay, well, hi, I'm Bob, and today's video, I just want to update you on the value of home prices here in Sacramento. All right, good job, Bob. What's the next part? And this is recording, by the way, in Riverside. Well, you have the story. Well, what does the story say? Try to say it. Well, I'm talking to buyers and sellers all the time, and the constant question I get all the time wherever I'm at as a realtor is what's going on with the market. And I'm going to give you three key things you need to know today about what I think the direction of home prices are this summer and probably going into the fall if you're thinking about buying or selling or want to know your home value. Bob, great. We're still rolling. Let's get some more out from you. Say your first key point. Say your second key point. You're helping your buddy. Say your third key point. It's all being recorded, but the whole thing's running the whole time, just like you're recording a Zoom meeting. Then you're done. And that goes to an editor. They cut it up, and believe it or not, you have a beautiful video. How cool is that?
Who edits it?
Anyone. Go to Fiverr.com. Fiverr.com. Video editor. Might be over hundreds of thousands. Fiverr. Yeah, Fiverr. Fiverr.com. Anyone. Your brokerage might support it, your team, but you just need a video editor somewhere in the world to edit a very simple video that you send that footage to, and you can send them a link right from Riverside. The whole sit was recorded, and they cut down the scenes, and now you have a wonderful video, and it looks great because it was recording right from your phone or a high-end webcam right to the hard drive. It's lossless. You sat down, you made an appointment, you had a buddy to help you you helped each other shoot your content, and it's done. If we had a little more time, I would actually shoot a video with someone right here. I would say, let's do this first scene. Let's do the second scene. Let's do the third scene. Edit together, you have a video. Yes, back here.
On your Riverside app, it says quality lightning fast editing. Can't you do all of that?
Yeah. The editing actually now, with the AI, it'll actually catch it. You'd be surprised how good it's getting. But I mean, you guys should just go there. I'm just giving you some cool resources. If you go to riverside.fm, it's like a studio quality content producing recording machine where you do it with a buddy. You interview people with it. You create podcasts. It's a wonderful, wonderful tool. Yes?
So does Riverside have AI
Yes.
generated capability of editing, or you actually need a physical editor?
I would recommend a physical editor now, but you'll be surprised that the editing is getting pretty good with being able to catch your scenes of where the best takes are. It is. It's only getting better. There's a teleprompter in it. It'll create the clips and the shorts. It's just that technology is getting better. But here's what I want you to take away. If you are going to create content and you're just getting started, get a buddy. That's the message. Do it with somebody. And you sit down, you schedule a time and help each other record your videos, but it's not like you physically have to get somewhere and do something. No, you just hop on a Zoom meeting and it's just like that for that product. We had one more question back over here, Frank.
Do you have to do it with a buddy?
You don't have to, no.
You do it yourself.
So here's the deal. When it comes to creating content, here's the deal. When it comes to creating content, let's think crawl, walk, run. All right? Creating of it. Crawl, you're getting started. You're getting comfortable seeing yourself on video. You're getting comfortable articulating your message through media. Do it with a buddy. Have someone interview you. Do it together with someone and help you create your scenes and make sure you look good and you're looking at the camera. Have a director. Have a director. Okay, walk. All right? At this point, your buddy is probably still there because you need the appointment or else you wouldn't do it. Let's be honest. You're buying the appointment with your buddy. But you press record and you just kind of go. And you let the thing rock and you keep talking. Run. Any camera turns on anywhere, you're on. And you can go and you just go completely off the top of your head. And you think in terms of structure when you speak in your head. And you think in terms of the outline in your head. And you're very good at getting the messages on demand out for the world to see on media. That's at the highest level of communication. So it's very much a personal development journey. Could we all agree? Getting good, becoming good teachers, using media, using video, and getting comfortable. But we want to make it easy and actually be able to execute it. Now, I'm telling you now, the work is basically done. The work is basically done now. You should feel good. You came here to reconnect with your existing database. We walked through that. We've planned what we're going to say with a formula, and you've scheduled some time you can't get out of your schedule to actually record it with a buddy using some of the tools that are available to you. Now the video's shot. Oh, whew. Hand it off. Somebody or someone hopefully helps you from this point. Let's go through the process, shall we? Let's go through the process of all the things we could do with it to get it out to stay in touch with your database. All right? You guys see YouTube channels? Do you think that video now that was shot in Riverside could get edited from someone with a nice thumbnail and uploaded with the YouTube title and the description, everything you pre-thought about onto YouTube pretty easily? Say yes. You can hire someone to do that, especially if they have the script plan up front and you shot it in an organized manner on Riverside looking good. You can look just like this. These are all on Riverside, by the way. I think probably on a simple webcam or on your iPhone. Looks pretty good, huh? Yeah. The key is the good footage that's structured, that footage goes with your content plan to the editor so they know what to say and it's all posted. You're not letting the team figure out what to say. It'll be a disaster. Okay, it goes on YouTube, right? All right. Remember that email account that you guys created where you put all those contacts in and you sent your reconnect message? Remember that? And you're also adding people to it from your prospecting all the time, asking permission to stay in touch and tracking subscribers. Do you think you could take a screenshot of your thumbnail and take the YouTube description and put it in an email and press send? that drives them back to, say, your website or YouTube to watch it? Of course. Doesn't it look pretty cool and brand you all as the expert, of the competent expert that someone would want to hire to work with you? Of course. It's all set up. The heavy lifting has been done. The infrastructure in your life is set. Okay, well, how many of you have a seller website? Does anyone have a dedicated website just for sellers? Raise your hand. Anyone have a dedicated seller website? Oh my goodness. This is something you can leave here and really think about. Generally speaking, in marketing, you want to personalize the message to the market. Buyers want to see homes. Sellers want to see you. Right? And generally, you want to kind of leave yourself off the buy side because I just want to see the houses and not the agent. But the sell side, they want to see you. They want to see your videos. They want to see where you've been. They want to see your testimonials. They want to see your listings. They want to see you as the competent professional. Here's some examples of seller websites. There's one for recruiting there. But I just want you to see how it's videos, calls to action. You're getting to know the person. Do you guys see that? A seller website focused on sellers of answering questions, maybe that video could go on. Do you guys have blogs? Do you have maybe a blog on your website where you post your content? You could take the video that you posted on YouTube, and again, it's not very difficult to hire someone to process this once it's done. This is not a challenging thing. It's just a checklist and a process and some focus. Take the video and put it up on your website. Put it up on your blog. Here's another example of some fun videos you can make as you start running. You can start really entertaining. It's one thing to be able to educate. It's another thing to be able to entertain. All right? Do you think if you have 3 key points in your video, it's pretty easy to grab a short or a clip of one of those points if you structure your content that way? A little tip, if you check out a company called opus.pro, you can upload any YouTube video there and it cuts it into a gazillion shorts, all through AI fairly effectively. The challenge is to get a good short from the AI, you need a probably fairly structured video. It's very helpful. And when you create 3 key points in your videos, it makes it very effective and very efficient to be able to pull the clips that you want for YouTube shorts or social media reels directly from the video you already shot. Isn't that great? That's what a video looks like on YouTube, and that's what the reels look like. So when you guys came to this seminar, you were probably thinking of these things in your head, right? You were thinking of like, this is what you were seeing in your head. How do I execute on this? It's actually not that hard if we focus on the database and we focus on creating the messaging and the content, and then you hire someone or work with someone to help promote this stuff. Let's see if I can get another example. Okay, retargeting. So that video goes on YouTube. That video goes on your website, your seller website. That video goes up on a blog post. Sure, checklist. Put it here, put it here, put it here. You could now take that video and that short. Remember how we took your database and we uploaded it to Facebook? Let's put a little money behind it. Let's take that video and put a little money behind it. Make sure not only are you showing up in email, but maybe let's also show up all over social media just for that narrow audience of your list. We don't have to spend much money. So they see you answering commonly asked questions, telling stories, something about real estate that brings the seller certainty that you're the best solution for their problem. Now, so what I showed you here, we have about 15 minutes left, is this is the end game of kind of what you came in for, of what you wanted to see. Social media, being seen, you want to do these things. I can't stress enough. Rounding up your existing list, focusing inward with your content to your past clients and sphere and your lead nurturers, growing your database, and setting aside time to actually create some ideas and a structure and shooting it is the work. We have to focus, we have to sit down, we have to put in our calendar and do it. And then I will tell you, once you have a promotion checklist of some type, there's a whole bunch of companies and people you can hire to process. All right? Question?
Would you say the optimum length of the video?
You know, that's a big question. If you're going for YouTube algorithms and you're looking to get found by strangers online, they actually like longer videos now. From what I understand, it keeps changing like 20 minutes. One of the things I want you to see with our talk today is I didn't share any information about how to use social media to get found by strangers. We are not creating content for algorithms. We are creating content for your database. If you get thrown off track by creating content for algorithms, it's like playing the lottery, trying to win. You might, and you hit it big. But the odds of that winning for you are ridiculously small, creating content for algorithms, of actually getting new business, of deals that close and commissions in the bank. And that would be the next step, but it's hard to get there. What I am saying is if we need business now, and we know where most listing agents get their business, and we know where business comes from, and we apply accurate thinking to the problem, I don't want to create content for algorithms. I want to create content for my list. I want to create content inward to my database and use these tools to use it for inward communication the way I want to think about it, not magically getting found. I will tell you, I have worked with lots of clients that lose their way from using content to be an expert, answering questions, helpful, honest, true, all these things we talked about to their list, and they want to get popular on YouTube. And unfortunately, one of the fastest ways and what you have to do, generally speaking, on YouTube and social media to get popular is people are drawn to negative news, and it pulls you down a path of everything you publish online as everything is collapsing and everything is burning all the time. The algorithms force you to pull you in that direction. I could pull up YouTube right now. I could type in the real estate market. What do you think we're going to see? Do you think your database wants to hear that? Do you see the disconnect of how you can get pulled to the algorithms? Be careful. That's not really how you get listings that close and make money. Focus inward to the list. That's a big takeaway from today that I think it could really help you in guiding you. Now, there's one more thing I want to share. Okay? Now, I'm going to recommend 2 videos a month to your database, and that's all 2 videos a month. Everything I showed you there can be created from 2 simple 3 to 5 minute videos if they're promoted correctly. We don't have to post every day. It's just too much. You can't sustain that. And yes, those are going to go out, and hopefully people call you and they see you. But there's a third message. I'm going to end on a big note as we wrap this up. There's a third message every month that everyone loves to send out, okay? And that's the lead generation email. The third message every month of your 36 touch, the 3 messages, the 2 educational videos, the lead generation email. The lead generation email is, hey, hopefully you've been kind of getting my helpful stuff, but I got something for you. I have something of value for you. I want to make you an offer, a marketing offer, not a real estate offer, but I want to make you a marketing offer you can't refuse. If you want it, respond, or click this link and go put your information into the forum and get it, and we'll follow up. Direct response marketing. So I gave you guys some examples of some great video content you can sit down and create for 2 educational videos a month to stay in touch with your database, like I showed you. I now would like to give you the direct response marketing messages that pull seller leads. The messages you can send out to your database, but you can also put on the radio. You can also run as an ad. You can also knock on a door with. These are the messages that generate seller leads, and you would send out some type of email like this that goes to some type of landing page. By the way, you guys can see over here, can't you? I think I'm standing in front of the whole thing the whole time because I'm looking up here. To opt in. So here we go. You ready? Hey, I just wanted to write you and let you know that if you're interested in finding out what your home is worth, click here and put your information in, and it will give you a good estimate. And then I'll call you to take a look at your home with some photos and give you an accurate value of what I think your home would list for. Yours free. Send that out, you get leads. Hey, if you're thinking about selling, I'm doing a workshop down the street. It's next Tuesday at 7 p.m. I brought in some experts, a home remodeling contractor. I brought in a property manager. I brought in a registered investment advisor to talk about how to defer capital gains. A ticket's normally $50, but if you want a free one, here's a code. I'd love to have you come out for my home selling workshop. I invite you to get a free ticket. That one works great. And there's also a live stream option, so they can attend online too if they're not in the area. Hey, are you thinking about selling? Well, lots changed. It's 60 days in the market. I wrote an updated free home selling guide. If you'd like to download my summer 2024 new home selling guide, put your information in, and you'll get it and you read it, and you'll be up to speed of what you need to know to sell your house. How you guys feeling? These are the ads. These are the ads you run to get leads. Free real estate strategy call. Hey, would you like someone to actually talk to work through a real estate problem? Are you going to be doing a real estate transaction soon? You're buying or selling a home, but you're unsure about how this thing's actually going to close and go right? Well, for 20-some years I've been at this game. Here's my Calendly. Book a call. Let's book a call. Happy to talk to you, no charge. I only get paid if you hire me to represent you when the home closes. But if you need some real estate advice, I'm here. I invite you to book a call. Hey, are you thinking about selling your home this summer, but maybe don't want to go through the hassle of a traditional sale? Well, I got some investors, I got Open Door, I got some other relationships that I might be able to give you an off-market offer. Might not be at the price you want. It's lower, but the terms are great. If you value convenience and you want really, really good terms, you don't want any strangers going through your home, we don't open houses, let me know and request a cash offer. I'll see if I can pull one for you that actually makes sense. Put your information in here. Hey, are you thinking about buying a home? Well, to be honest with you, not all the homes you see for sale are necessarily online. There's a lot of people that are thinking over the decision to sell, but haven't listed yet. And us as brokers get wind of those things. If you'd like access to that, join my VIP buyer list. Opt in here. I'll call you. I'll get you pre-approved with the lender. We'll make sure you're all set up, ready to move. And if I have a deal that I hear about where the seller has maybe specifically requested they don't want it online, I'll tell you about it, and we'll see if I can arrange an off-market transaction. If you're seriously thinking about buying a home, opt into my VIP buyer list. I'll give you one more. Hey, are you thinking of selling your home, but maybe you've lived in it for a while and it might be a little bit dated, maybe it's damaged? Well, if a buyer is going to pay the price you want for a home today, they're not going to have anything left over at these interest rates to fix it up after they close. Got it? So you might want to think about doing some pre-listing renovation before you sell it. And if you'd like my contractor to come out there and figure out the kitchens and bathrooms, whatever we got to do to sell this thing for max value, so a modern buyer that can actually afford to pay the price that you want, so it's kind of structured indirectly into the mortgage, call me, and we'll do a free pre-listing renovation estimate. I'll help you. How do you guys feel about those offers? You like those? I want you to imagine once a month, you write a little email, you write a message rather, and you send it out to your list once a month like that, and you post something like that once a month on social media. Do you think that's going to generate and re-engage some people in your database that have been watching your stuff to take action who's actually a lead that might want to do business now? Say yes. And there you go. If you're looking to reconnect with your existing database, and you're looking to get more money from it to book more appointments, gather it in one spot, send out a reconnect email or a Facebook post, social media post. Let's put a 36-touch marketing program in place of 2 educational messages and a monthly lead generation message. Wonderful point of diminishing returns that you can sustain for a long time to position yourself as the expert and give your database what they want. Thank you. I'll give you one last thing that's even better. So the whole point today of the title. Oh, by the way, you can also put the video on a postcard. So that's another way to distribute it. But here's the deal. Let's say you do all of this, and no one's magically calling you. It's not like you send this out and you get this phone call from somebody who wants to sell. Sometimes we might have to swim out to our ship before we wait for it to come in. When you send an email out, this was an email, I think this email was on how to sell your home this summer. The video was on how do I sell my home this summer. And this individual had 21,000 people open it, even though that's not always that accurate, whatever. But 283 people were like, no, never send to me again. And you might freak out thinking that like 283 people unsubscribed. I'm telling you, don't worry about it. You're going to see it. Just thank them for not clicking report spam. Great. That's how you want to look at it. But do you see how 895 people watched that video? They actually clicked through your email to watch the video. Would you like to know the contact information and the names of the 895 people in your database to watch the video on how to sell your home this summer? Would that be valuable information? Say yes. Yes. You can pull it. You can go into the email program, and it will tell you who clicked it. We would send out emails to our database when I was in the real estate game to invite people to get a cash offer. Would you like an offer on your home? We would just send an email out. And they would go back and they would opt into the form and they would put their first name and their last name and their email and their phone number. And we did get some people finding it online, but I'd go through. I would get these leads from the lead generation forms. What I'm sharing with you here is you can prioritize your follow-up to set warm appointments from your database by kind of swimming out to your ship, by seeing who's clicking the links in your videos and engaging in your emails to prioritize your follow-up. And obviously, you can call the people that opt into the web forms. Call them, set some appointments. Here's what to say. Hey, it's Frank, ABC Realty. I see you subscribe to my videos I send out. I just sent one out on how to sell your house. Just want to call you. I'm free to answer any questions about that. Oh, funny you called me. Isn't that cool? Give it a shot. That's how you can prioritize who in your database is interested. Let's go over some questions. I promised you today, and you have the notes, was to give you a plan of how to reconnect with your neglected database with video, social media, and email to book more warm listing appointments. And if you go back through the notes and you watch the replay from today and you need a plan from that, I think we delivered on that today. May I say yes? Yes. It is work. It's something to think about. You have to kind of make the jump from being a productive salesperson to a creative teacher. Got that? You have to be a productive salesperson, and now we're going to make the jump to setting aside time to be creative and to be a teacher. And if we make that jump, I've given you the plan. So before we're done, let's open some questions, shall we? What do you guys want to know? What's holding you back from executing? Over here, then you.
So I have a large CRM, but I came from a very large team, let me say that.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the deals that I closed, our team closed over 300 transactions in 1 year. Most of those people may not truly know me because I was on such a big team, but I managed the closing of their transactions. How would you initiate
That first reconnect message.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Well, what's your name?
Candace.
Candace, nice to meet you, Candace. Thanks for asking that question. So Candace worked for a large team, and she's now in production. You're on the administrative side, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Email, excited to reconnect with you. Hi, my name's Candace. I used to work for a large real estate team here in town. And I have your email address here on file because you may have inquired about buying or selling a home, and maybe we've done business together. I'm assuming you have permission to do this, right, in some way. We've done business together. But I want to write you, let you know that I'm selling real estate. I was in the depths of a lot of transactions, is that correct? And I saw a lot of things go wrong. Well, no more. I've stepped up to actually manage and navigate the actual sale as a licensed real estate professional now. I also saw how people would come in uneducated about the full selling process, which is more of a necessary now than it has been before. So the reason I write you is I'm stepping up to help publish some educational videos to keep you informed. This is maybe how you know me or how we have an existing relationship. And I want to let you know if you don't want to hear from me because you've, this is kind of out of the blue. You can click here, you can scroll down to the bottom and unsubscribe. No hard feelings. That's how I would craft that initial reach out. And that's where setting aside the time to sit down and think and be creative to get that message right. Do you see how that time is well spent to nail that, to be creative, because then it scales and it hits? That's one of the highest lever points of your business is crafting messaging that works at scale. That's how I would handle that. Great question. We got another one? About 2 minutes. Other questions? Yes, Frank. Text. Yeah. So text is something, remember I had the question about legality? We had the question of legal questions, all right? When you start getting into texting, it's like the highest regulated legal aspects. Here's my answer to that. Do not mass text, meaning one-to-many. You're fine one-to-one if you humanly initiate it. That's generally not a big deal to your past client sphere and database. But if you just grab everyone's phone number and you press a button and the system sends out the text, without you having documentation they explicitly opted in for it, it could put you in trouble. So we didn't do any texting today. We didn't cover it for those reasons. Now, does that mean you can't text? Absolutely not. Usually these programs like Constant Contact or Emma will ask you, do you also want to text the list? They're built in. Do you want to send a text out about your video? Do you want to do a text to everyone? And they'll say with these huge disclosures, did they all opt in for this, like 100% hardcore documented? And if that's the case and someone opts in for it, absolutely, you can send texts. One more. One more question to be able to execute this today, and I'll leave you with your action step.
Share with us how someone would work with you.
Oh, work with us. Okay, so my company, thank you. My company is called Vyral Marketing. We execute this. Everything we showed you today is what I wanted, what I needed when I first got back into real estate. I needed someone to do this for me. So I built a company that does it for you. You can go check out Vyral Marketing. I'm one of many options out there. I have a package for it. You can check it out. But I'm also saying that it's not bad for you to do it yourself, to learn it. You can also put together your own team of independent contractors through Fiverr, Upwork to do it. Maybe your team as a value proposition has some levels of this to assist you. But I will throw my hat in there that Vyral Marketing is a company you can go check out online. I welcome you to come interview with us and see if it works. One of the cool things I am very proud about is I give a 90-day money-back guarantee. If you go to pricing, you click pricing in the top part of it. This is how much it costs. It's $2,000 to build and $725 a month we can execute on all this, which is actually pretty good for pricing. But you never know if this is going to work. You never know how comfortable you're going to be on video. You never know if you're going to like how you look. You never really know how your database is going to respond. You never know if you're actually going to be able to sustain it and commit to it unless you do it. There's just no way of knowing. So we give a 90-day money-back guarantee. You call me any reason within the first 90 days, I write you a check and you're out. I'm pretty proud of that. Thanks, Brent.
Awesome,
Brent.
Give him a hand.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.